Sisters share everything, she hissed. But you're not real family. Then Brooke slid a $3,840 check across the table like a tip for going away. The church coffee was still warm when my sister turned our mother's dining room into a payout desk. Stacks of envelopes, a yellow calculator, a pen that clicked too loud. Brooke wore morning black and a smile with knives. For the record, she said, tapping the ledger, anyone not blood gets a courtesy check. In your case, she wrote fast, tore the slip, and slid it toward me, $3,840. That's generous. The number looked like a random bruise. Neat cursive. Her signature curling where love should have been. I didn't pick it up. The house still smelled like lemon oil and old paper from Mum's files, cleared out after the service. On the sideboard lay the things that made today feel like a courtroom. The deed from the quick sale. The car title, the estate sale receipt rubber-banded tight. My adoption decree was in my bag, laminated from the time I was 8 and afraid a piece of paper could dissolve. Mum always said we split, I said, steady. All 3 kids. Brooke's smile narrowed. Mum said family first. You're adopted. You got a roof and braces. That's plenty. She tapped the check again. Cash it fast. The estate account closes Friday. My brother Dane hovered in the doorway, eyes on his shoes. Let's not fight, he muttered. He took his envelope without looking inside. I set my leather folio on the table. It was the one I used for everything adults do when adults are watching. Tabs in blue adoption, will trust. I pulled my phone from the pocket and opened a message I'd drafted 3 days ago on my way at 6:30. Bring the binder and keep your answers short. M. Patel, Executor. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments about which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story. Brooke caught the movement. Who are you texting? She reached for the courtesy check like she might snatch it back if I breathed wrong. You don't want to make this ugly. Ugly, I said, is writing someone out with a calculator. She leaned in, whispered, you were lucky we kept you. Don't be greedy now. Something cool slid into place inside me, not anger, exactly, more like a lock clicking. I unzipped the folio and laid my adoption decree on the wood final order of adoption and, beside it, a photocopy of Mum's will with codicil, dated March 12th in thick blue ink. Brooke's eyes flicked to the blue stamp, then away. What is that? She asked, voice smaller. Mum's last change, I said. She signed it at St. Luke's when she realized the sale would close before spring. Brooke laughed too fast. No lawyer would. We didn't need the doorbell rang. 2 firm taps, then 1. Not a neighbor. Not a friend. Right on time. Dane looked up, startled. Brooke's hand froze over the check. I slid the $3,840 back across the table without touching it. We'll open the door together, I said, already moving, and then we'll read what Mum actually wrote. I opened the door. A woman in a navy coat stood on the porch with a leather folio and calm eyes. Mira Patel, she said. Court-appointed executor. My condolences. She stepped in like rain carried her. No perfume, no wasted words. Brooke's smile tightened. We already divided things, she said. Hand on the $3,840 like it was a leash. Ms. Patel set her folio on the dining table, clicked a small recorder. 3:12 p.m. reading codicil for the estate of Lydia Hart, she said. Present, Brooke Hart, Dane Hart, and she looked at me adopted daughter under final decree dated June 5, 2001. Legal child in every way. Brooke laughed once, brittle. We're keeping it simple. We will, Ms. Patel replied. Simple is, no one distributes without the executor. Dane slid into a chair. He looked at the recorder like it might grade him. Ms. Patel took out a stamped packet. Blue notary seal. Codicil, March 12th. Witnessed at St. Luke's. She read, it clarifies 3 things. 1. All 3 children inherit equally by name, including the adopted child. Her finger tapped each typed name like a metronome. 2. Because of the pending sale, proceeds go to a short-term estate account, and are not to be withdrawn except by executor. 3. If any beneficiary attempts to exclude another on the basis of blood, a no contest clause triggers, and that beneficiary's share is reduced to $1. Brooke's pen stopped clicking. Mum would never. Mum wrote it, I said. My voice surprised me a level, not loud. Ms. Patel slid a single page to the center. There's also a letter, she said. To be read only if anyone says the phrase, not real family. She rested a fingertip on the seal. It was already broken in my memory. It broke again now. Brooke's cheeks went pink. This is ridiculous. Ms. Patel didn't flinch. Before we pretend the $3,840 is lawful, the estate account shows 3 unauthorized ATM withdrawals this week, totaling $3,840. The bank flagged them. I had them frozen at noon. Anyone holding a check drawn from those funds is holding paper that will bounce. Dane's head snapped up. You froze the account. I froze Mum's account, Ms. Patel said, because it wasn't yours. Brooke's fingers curled around the check. Those were reimbursements. For what? Ms. Patel asked. Groceries? Gas? My time, Brooke said, chin lifting. Ms. Patel opened the inventory. Your mother prepaid utilities through March and left a caregiver envelope in the safe, $300 cash. It's still there. She set down a photo, a small fireproof box, blue sticky note on top in Mum's handwriting. For Brooke, thank you cups and rides. Beside it, a second sticky, different ink. Do not touch estate account. Mira has everything. My chest tightened around those loops of letters. Brooke reached for the photo like she could smudge ink with fingers. She didn't mean, state law is boring, Ms. Patel said mildly. It means what it says. The house held its breath. You could hear the fridge, the street, the pen in Brooke's hand not clicking. Here's the path, Ms. Patel continued. I will file a notice of improper withdrawals and a stop payment on anything drawn this week. Then we proceed. Appraisal confirmations, sale, proceeds, equal distribution. If anyone contests on bloodline, the no contest clause activates. If anyone harasses a beneficiary, I request a protective order tied to the estate. Questions. Brooke stared at the check like it had betrayed her. Mum always said family first. Ms. Patel nodded. She did, and then she wrote down who she meant when she said family. She slid the sealed letter toward me. Would you like to read, or should I? I looked at the wax where it had cracked. My name in Mum's hand across the flap. For when anyone forgets, I'll read, I said. Brooke's chair scraped. Don't. Ms. Patel lifted a palm. We will. She pressed play on the recorder again. 3:15 p.m. reading of Lydia Hart's letter to her children. I slipped a finger under the paper and opened the seal. The first line hit like a hand on my shoulder. If this letter is open, one of you used the word real wrong. Dane exhaled. Brooke's jaw set. I read the next line. My voice didn't shake, and before the doorbell rang again. 2 quick taps, then 1. Ms. Patel's eyes flicked to the clock, approving. That will be the bank officer with the freeze confirmation, she said. Brooke's fingers tightened around the $3,840. The recorder caught the sound of the bell. The table caught everything else. Bez. Patel nodded toward the hall. Please, get the door. I opened it to a man in a gray suit with a bank badge. David Chen, First State Bank, he said. I'm here with estate account notices. He stepped into the dining room and set a thin folder beside Ms. Patel's recorder. Per executor request, account ending 1432 is frozen to beneficiary access, he said. Any checks drawn this week will be returned. Insufficient authority. Brooke's fingers tightened on the $3,840. It's my mother's money. Mr. Chen glanced at the codicil. It's the estate's money. After death, only the executor may authorize. Also, he slid a printout toward Ms. Patel. 3 ATM attempts flagged as not. Same card, same branch. Camera stills pulled if needed. Brooke's chin lifted. I was getting cash for the house. Ms. Patel kept her voice even. There is caregiver cash in the safe. We'll inventory it before anyone spends a cent. Mr. Chen placed 2 letters on the table. Freeze confirmation, he said. And a hold notice for the branch manager. If anyone tries to present that check, he glanced at Brooke's hand. The teller will call me and the executor. He left a card and stepped back. I'll wait in the car if you need signatures, he added, and withdrew like a tide. Silence again. The fridge hummed. Somewhere, a neighbor's dog barked like a metronome. Ms. Patel turned the recorder back toward me. Go on, she said gently. The letter. I smoothed the page. Mum's handwriting sat at the top in blue ink. A little shakier than last year, but still itself. If this letter is open, one of you used the word real wrong. I read, Judge Morales told us on adoption day that as if born to is the law. I believed her. I also believed the part the law can't hold, that love makes family first. Brooke exhaled through her nose, arms crossed, eyes bright. Brooke, Danif, you're reading this beside your sister. Remember, you once fought over who got to hold her bottle. I laughed then. I'm not laughing now. My voice caught and leveled. No one is allowed to use a calculator to make her small. If you try, my codicil takes your math away. Ms. Patel tapped the no contest clause with her pen, a light sound that carried. I read the next lines. Mira has keys and copies because I knew one of you would be tired, and tired makes people unkind. Put your hands down, eat something, then sign what she gives you, and stop counting what isn't yours. Dane's eyes hit the table. She wrote that at St. Luke's. He asked, Raw.ms. Patel slid a photocopy of the witness sheet across. 2 nurses and the chaplain, she said, all signed. There was a second page, folded. I opened it. Last thing, there is a bank box with my wedding ring and a small notebook. If anyone said, not real family, the notebook gets read aloud before distribution. The key is taped under the top drawer of my dresser. Mira make them all go together. Brooke blinked. A box. Ms. Patel opened her folio and produced a small evidence bag with a brass key inside. Found it at inventory, she said. Logged with photos, she checked her watch. The branch is closed now, but they'll open the box at 9 a.m. tomorrow for the executor and named heirs. Dane looked from the key to me. We all go. All 3, Ms. Patel said. No one alone. That is the instruction. Brooke's voice sharpened. We don't need theatrics. This is not theater, Ms. Patel said. It's procedure, and she touched the letter. It's your mother's last errand. Mr. Chun's card glinted on the wood. The $3,840 lay limp in Brooke's hand, now future less. Ms. Patel flipped one more tab. 2 housekeeping items. Lydia's IRA lists 3 equal beneficiaries, separate from the estate. The custodian set a verification call for tomorrow at 10:30. And the estate sale buyer is delivering a balance check to me, not to this house. Brooke swallowed. So, what do we do tonight? Ms. Patel uncapped her pen and slid 2 forms forward, simple and blunt. You sign that you've received notice of the freeze, and that you will not attempt further withdrawals. You sign that you've surrendered any checks, then you eat, you rest, and tomorrow morning you meet me at the bank. Brooke looked at me, not at Ms. Patel. You're really going to make us sit there together? I held Mum's letter, fingerprints in the ink now. Mum, I said. I'm just reading. The doorbell rang a 3rd time, single chime, then silence. Ms. Patel glanced at the clock. That will be Nora, the notary, she said. We'll make this boring now, so tomorrow can be clean. Brooke stared at the check like it might still save face. Then, slow, she set it on the table. The recorder's red light stayed steady. The brass key in its bag caught a line of winter sun. Morning had a shape, and it was waiting in a small box with our names on it. Morning smelled like bank coffee and carpet cleaner. 9 a.m. sharp. Mr. Chen waved us past the velvet rope to a small room with a metal table and a door that thunked like a vault. Learning manners. Ms. Patel set her recorder down. 9:02 a.m. safe deposit box opening for the estate of Lydia Hart. Present, executor, beneficiaries, bank officer. Brooke took the chair farthest from me. Dane sat beside the door, palms flat, eyes on the table like he could study it into being softer. Mr. Chen slid the brass key from the evidence bag and matched it to a master. "You can watch," he said. "Please don't touch until the inventory sheet is signed." The drawer slid out with a sound like paper. Inside, a long navy box and a cloth-bound notebook secured with a rubber band. On the notebook's cover, blue ink in Mum's hand, Personal Property Memorandum, See Will, Section 3, dated March 12th. Signed Lydia Hart. Brooke huffed. "A diary?" "Not in this state," Ms. Patel said, gentle. "It's a legal memo for tangible items. Courts honor them if they're referenced in the will." Mr. Chen logged items on a duplicate sheet. Ms. Patel broke the rubber band and opened the notebook to the first page. Typed header, then Mum's handwriting. "Under Section 3 of my will, I dispose of personal effects as listed." Line items followed. Blue quilt Dane. Recipe box, Brooke. Camera to be shared, keep negatives in archival sleeves. And then, wedding ring gold band. Inscription L+J, 1978. "To my daughter who most needed proof she was mine." Mum had written my full name, spelled carefully, underlined once. The room went so quiet I could hear the vault air make its own weather. Brooke's voice came out thin. "She wouldn't, she did," Miss Patel said softly. "March, dozy, same day, as the codicil." She opened the navy box. The ring lay in a small velvet cutout, warm with a color gold gets when it's been skinned for decades. Mr. Chen logged it, then nodded at Ms. Patel. "Executor can place it," he said. "We'll note the handoff." Ms. Patel looked at me. I couldn't make my fingers move. She set the ring in my palm like a secret that had stopped being one. It was heavier than I expected. Warmer. The next page of the notebook had a tab. "If anyone says, 'not real family,' read aloud." Ms. Patel turned it for me. "Go ahead," she said. I read, "When we signed the adoption papers. Judge Morales said as if born to." I loved the as if, because love pretends until it doesn't have to. If you're reading this because someone forgot, remember, you used to fight to hold her bottle. You called her, our sister. I wrote this memo so a ring could say what a calculator cannot. My throat clicked. I kept going. "Brooke, I gave you the recipe box because you know how to feed a room. Dane, I gave you the quilt because you keep warm what you're given. To my youngest if you hear the words, 'not real' out loud, take the ring, and know I meant you to have something that lived on my hand every day. I was your mother." Brooke's eyes shone. She crossed her arms tighter. "So what? A ring isn't money." Ms. Patel turned a page. A plain business envelope was taped there, slit on one side. She pulled a folded paper, free, and set it down. "Deposit receipt, $3,840. Hart Family Legal Aid Fund, Foster and Adoption. Dated March 13th. I stared. Ms. Patel nodded. She put the exact number in a restricted fund at the legal aid clinic. Her note, she flipped the deposit over. Mum's ink ran across the back, says, "If anyone tries to use money to make family small, let this amount go, make a family bigger." Mr. Chun's pen paused above his sheet. Dane exhaled like someone had untied him. Brooke blinked fast. "She planned for me to be the villain," she said. "But it came out broken. She planned for the tired version of all of us," I said, "so the rested version would have a map." Ms. Patel turned the notebook's last tab. A page held 2 small envelopes. Labeled in Mum's neat block letters, for an apology read if offered, and for silence read if needed. She looked at Brooke. Brooke's mouth worked. She looked at the ring in my hand, at the deposit slip, at the memo where Mum had written our names, like 3 corners of the same shape. Her voice, when it came, was small. "I don't want to be the reason we need the second one." Ms. Patel rested her finger on the first envelope. "You have time," she said. "We also have a 10:30 IRA call. We can read this after, if you like." Brooke nodded, a jerky little motion that looked like tripping and catching yourself. "After," she said. Mr. Chen slid the inventory across. We signed where he pointed. He locked the empty box back into its drawer with a clean click. As we stood, the vault door hummed. Morning light pushed under it, Thin and strong. The ring warmed in my fist. The apology envelope waited like a breath held. And the 10:30 call was 26 minutes away. We moved from the vault to a small glass room with a phone in the middle. Last year's Eventio Chalto M. Blinked on a wall clock that didn't know our names. Ms. Patel put the call on speaker. Custodian services. This is Tara, a bright voice said. Verification for the Lydia Hart IRA 3 listed beneficiaries, equal shares. Confirm present. Executor, Meera Patel, Ms. Patel said. Beneficiaries, Brooke Hart, Dane Hart, and she looked at me deliberately. My full name, adopted daughter, under final decree. Legal child. Tara's tone went all business. Thank you. I'll confirm each party by voice. Dane leaned in. Dane Hart. Here, I said my name. The ring in my palm felt like a small sun. Silence where Brooke should be. Ms. Hart, Tara prompted. Brooke stared through the glass at nothing. Her throat moved. When she spoke, her voice had lost its edges. Brooke Hart here, thank you, Tara said. Equal shares confirmed. DocuSign packages arrive within the hour. Distributions begin after receipt of death certificate and executor release. Any contest on beneficiary status? The question hung like a trapdoor. No, Brooke said, fast and quiet. No contest. Ms. Patel met my eyes. She didn't smile, exactly. But the air changed temperature. The call ended with polite legal words. Ms. Patel clicked off the recorder. The room exhaled. 2 signatures, she said gently, sliding forms to Brooke and Dane. Acknowledgement of freeze. Surrender of unauthorized checks. Brooke unfolded her hands. She set the $3,840 on the table like a bird she was done holding. The pen trembled once in her grip, then moved. Dane signed without looking up. For the record, Ms. Patel said, capping her pen, no contest remains in effect. But the path is clean now. Mr. Chen poked his head in, collected the surrendered check, and nodded bank language, for this will not come back to bite you. He left us with a quiet kind of efficiency you only notice in hindsight. Ms. Patel lifted the notebook again, and rested it between us. Open to the 2 small envelopes. For an apology, and for silence. She looked at Brooke, then at me. Which should we open? She asked. Brooke's jaw worked. She glanced at the ring in my hand, at the deposit slip Mum had made to legal aid, at Dane's set mouth. She swallowed. The first one, she said. If you'll let me try. Slid a finger under the flap, and handed for an apology to Brooke. She read, lips moving, then cleared her throat. If you got to this envelope, she read, voice shaking. Someone remembered how to say, I was wrong. Good. Start small. Say the thing you wish you'd said before I got sick. Then eat something together, preferably from the recipe box. Signed, Mum, who burned the first batch of rolls in '98, and still got to feed you. Brooke folded the paper and looked at me, not past me, not over me. Straight at me. I was wrong, she said. The words came like pebbles first, then water. I was tired and scared and mean. I used a calculator to make you small. I called you something you're not. I am, she stopped, reset. I am sorry. The room held steady. Dane wiped his face with the side of his hand and pretended he hadn't. I'm angry, I said, because truth has to stand up, too. But I hear you. I opened my fist. The ring lay there, warm, inevitable. We're going to do this, by the paper Mum left, equal clean. I slid the legal aid deposit slip toward Brooke, and if you want to fix something today, you can come with me to the clinic next week. Meet the attorney who will use Mum's $3,840 to help someone's family grow. Brooke nodded to fast, then slower. I'll go, she said. I'll drive. I'll bring lunch. Ms. Patel closed her folio. Then we're done for now, she said. I'll email timelines by 5. Bank box remains sealed except for inventory. Call me before you touch anything that looks important. Better call me before you touch anything at all. It should have sounded sharp. It sounded like care that learned law. We left the bank. Winter sun caught on the snowmalt, like somebody had taken a highlighter to the sidewalks. At Mum's kitchen table. Dane pulled the recipe box toward the middle. Brooke found Lydia's rolls do not burn, and laughed when she didn't mean to. We measured badly and then corrected. Butter softened. Yeast woke. The house didn't smell like lemon oil anymore. It smelled like something rising. I slid the ring onto a thin chain and clasped it at my neck. It settled against my collarbone like punctuation at the end of a sentence that finally read, right. Brooke tucked the label maker into a drawer without printing anything. Dane set 3 plates. I set Mum's letter on the sideboard where the calculator had been. Sisters share everything. Brooke had hissed yesterday, today. We shared dough under our fingernails and the sound of a timer that wasn't about money. We ate rolls we didn't burn. We made a plan for the clinic. We answered Ms. Patel's email with 3 quick received, and when the mail came, the DocuSign pings hit our phones like polite bells. Equal shares in writing. Adopted isn't a discount, it's a verb. Someone chose, someone signed, someone kept choosing. Mum had made sure the law remembered what love already knew. I touched the ring and breathed. Real family. Right there, at the table.